camera is on.
Welcome to Nights at the Round Table, a round table discussion on speculative fiction books and film.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to Nights at the Round Table, where we discuss books, movies, and, I don't know, whatever comes into our brains. I am Garth Hale-Hodgson. I'm here today with Sue and Marjolaine, and we are discussing The Host, a terrifying South Korean movie from 2006 about monsters coming out of... Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one, isn't
That's
it?
the wrong one.
All right, on this
Good
episode,
try.
Stargate SG-1, the Goa'uld invade the Earth. And, again, wrong. The 2013, was it?
No,
The
13.
Host, a movie based on a book by Stephanie Meyer of Twilight infamy. So, let's begin with first impressions.
Okay, I'm
Sue?
being nice and avoiding that for the most part. It was okay. This fell flat in a lot of ways. The acting was not great. The romance was kind of thrown in there. The whole love triangle thing. The twist was, it was okay. I guess you could have seen it coming. I felt like it was unnecessary. There really weren't that many elements of thriller or suspense as far as I'm concerned, and the general concept of this thing was really the only thing that I actually kind of liked. And yeah, that's my first impression.
All right, Marjola?
My first impressions are about a decade old from when the movie rights were sold. I had just recently finished the books when it was announced that the movie rights had been sold, and my impression was there's so much about the book itself that's not cinematic in any way that I don't know how they're going to make this. Mm-hmm. So my impression going into the theater, because of course I went to see the movie anyway, was it could have been so much worse.
But it could have been so much better.
Well, yes, obviously, but it could. I was expecting terrible, terrible things, but it was okay. It was not amazing, but
I agree. Yeah.
all the ways it could have been worse.
Okay.
It was bad in all the worst possible ways. The act was just pure awful. And I don't think it was the actors or actresses' faults.
It's the writing.
It's the writing. It's the script they were given was miserable. The directing they were given was almost non-existent. I'm feeling like there. Mm-hmm. The movie is just laugh out loud bad in several places. The plot falls apart very quickly.
Yeah.
And just continues to stumble along, attempting to be something. It attempts to be a love triangle, but it fails utterly at that. It attempts to be a thriller, but is not even slightly thrilling. It attempts to be intellectual, but is dumb as mud. It is nothing it wants to be. It fails at everything it attempts to be, but there are bits of it that show promise if they had been given to competent people to build a story out of. I did not read the book, so I have no idea where the book is better or worse than the movie. All I can say is what's on the movie itself, and I can tell you, it is only enjoyable if you are the type of person like me who enjoys watching train wrecks. Catastrophe in progress. Excellent. Where's the popcorn?
I had high hopes sort of walking into this because normally after your first work you tend to get better, and I assumed that having a publishing company and having movie rights sold again and being able to come up with a totally different idea, I was expecting a lot more than what it gave me. And I really feel like... Huh?
You're not a Stephen King fan.
No, I am. But some of them.
The movies. Just...
There's so
so
nearly
much.
every Stephen King movie
adaptations suck, whether the author was amazing this book or not.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of that has to do with the rights that you retain as an author to film and what can be translated. Like, as novelist, I could tell that this book had to have been more first person and
Yes,
very
entirely
inner
first person,
monologue.
Yes.
Oh God, yes.
And it, like, to try and transfer that to film is complicated enough. I mean, it made for certain scenes to be interesting in concept but poorly executed. So, for example, the love triangle, I fully believed the Jared and Melanie falling in love because you see all of the flashbacks of them having fun, doing whatever, like they were truly in love. The other guy and the host, or like the alien falling in love with the other guy, I'm like, he barely tried. There was one scene where it was kind of believable, but it felt like the only good thing that came out of that dynamic was to show that, okay, it is possible to care about more than one person, and how in your mind you're thinking about, well, do I really want to go forward or not? And that was the only thing it gave you out of that whole thing.
That love story, the second, the two of them, the dude and the brain
alien.
slug, that can probably be best described as a mannequin falling in love with a piece of wood.
yeah, like it did not feel like there was any kind
I love
of
how
emotion
it started
behind that.
too. He comes in to kill her, fails at killing her, and is immediately in love with her.
Yeah,
that
it was
was-
like there was nothing.
There's nothing
If I-
there, and she has no ability to express emotion throughout most of this movie.
Yes.
And at first it makes sense because she's a brain slug, but the movie continues on and there's nothing.
Well,
she never gets better.
Well, yeah, and that's just it. Like they even tell you, one of my like big faults of this is the alien is supposed to be like 1,000 years old, has been through multiple bodies. Don't you think you would have learned how to assimilate better in some kind of way? Like, you're really feeling like Borg here. That's really what you're feeling like in this whole thing. I'm like, oh, just stop.
Making decisions that do not make any sense.
Yes.
And the love story is just the worst part of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I could have done entirely without it.
Because, like, and God, the lines, like, I love you too. It's just flat. Like, the human character, perfectly flat, has no expression on his face except for mild constipation throughout the entire movie.
No, that's very accurate. It's so true. And again, like, these aliens are like, we enjoy the experience of like the races that we take over and inhabit the bodies. They've done how many planets? Like 15.
No, there was
planets?
like 12 planets that
Okay.
they've taken over.
So at some point you gotta think, like, you have access to memories. Why did you walk through the desert with one tiny bottle of water, get sunburnt, and expect to survive? Like, what?
Yeah, hey, Wanderer,
What?
you're 1,000 years old, and this voice in your head is telling you to walk through the desert. You just do it.
Yeah, like, no common sense whatsoever. But yet, strangely, the other seekers seem to be fine. Now, I'm wondering if that's because...
Remember, like, Crazy Bitch Lady was crazy.
Yes.
And going more
Well,
nuts.
yes.
And I thought they were going to do something with that. I thought that was going to be interesting because she's sitting there, like, staring at herself in a computer screen.
Yeah.
And being like, I won't lose. I won't. Like, and I'm like, all right, so she's clearly having issues with her human.
Yes.
And is this going to come back? So then they take the brain slug out of the human, and it's super easy. It's just like, poke,
Mm-hmm.
come on out. Yeah, here we go.
Exactly.
Like-
Oh my god.
It's like,
so
you
many
keep cutting them
things.
out. That's the wrong thing to do. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but even at that, like, the seeker had the alien inside pushing back the human for so long, and why was it only now that it was trying
Yeah.
to come out? Like,
See,
What?
this is what I thought would happen. I thought they were going to take the brain slug out, and it would turn out that the human is like a psychopath.
yo, that would
And
be
what
awesome.
the entire reason that the seeker was going nuts was because she had a psycho in her head telling her to kill people the entire time.
See, that would have been an awesome, amazing, suspenseful thriller. Great.
it could
What
have
the
been-
hell happened?
Yeah, no. And she wakes up and she's like, oh, I was screaming the entire time, but couldn't do anything. I'm like, what? What?
Say something.
That is what happens when you try to narrow down a 600-page book in a 2-hour movie.
That was 600 pages.
That was 600 pages. A lot of the things that made a little bit more sense, it wasn't perfect, but it made a little bit more sense in the book because it was a slow burn. There was a lot of time to express it to explore all of those things. And the actual human, the seeker human, is a psychopath in the book, by the way.
Oh, great!
Oh, good. Okay, so the book is better, is what we've established.
All right, good.
Yeah, great. I was worried there. I'm like, what the hell?
So I don't know what decisions were made or how it happened, but I mean, it's a 600-page book, and you have to make it into a 2-hour movie, and sacrifices were made, I guess.
Bad sacrifices. We could have done without the love triangle and kept the psycho human. I would have gone for that a lot more.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Because it would give a lot more insight into these brain parasites and how they interact with their host. Because if the host is influencing them to be a murderous bitch, then that's bad news for everybody.
Because they're the whole time, like, the humans are so scared of these things. They seem like relatively peaceful creatures, like, overall, because they're not really doing that much except saying, we want to experience your world by taking all of you over in the most non-violent way possible. Like, like, even to get the alien out of the body, of the host body, it's just no, you have to not hate them. You have to be peaceful and calm and loving. And I'm like, okay, I can get behind the idea of this movie, but everything else, you're killing me. You're just killing me.
The idea, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it's basic stuff. We've been doing it since the 40s or something. And the execution is just so terrible. Like, okay, these peaceful aliens have invaded and taken over. How did they take over the Earth? They have no advanced weapons at all. They've got advanced tech,
obvious
but
shiny
else.
Cars. By the way, are you noticing a theme?
Yeah.
Actually, 2 of them right off the bat. The quote right at the beginning, and then the super shiny cars, and I'm like, it's a Lotus. Yeah. And it's metallic, bright, shiny silver, as if the humans aren't gonna see you coming.
No, and the seekers all wear like these pure white suits,
yes.
and they walk around. It's like, hey, you have to come with it. Like they're very polite to the people they're kidnapping and inserting brain slugs into, which is nice as an idea, but they have no way to force the issue. Yep. How did they start taking people over?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So yes, so many issues, plot holes, miles wide in this story. So, let's move on. Marjolaine, characters.
Yes?
Favorite, least favorite?
Oh.
Of the movie, not the book.
Of the movie. Okay, that's harder.
I know, right?
Ugh.
Hard to say.
It is hard to say.
Thinking through it.
Just thinking through it.
I can't.
Do you like
I
the
can't
cliche
separate
old man?
I mean, nah.
With the shotgun?
He was fine.
He was
Do
fine.
you like the token kid?
I could have done without the kid.
Do you like love interest number 1 or love interest number 2? Which kissing scenes were the best?
Okay, really, the truth is, the first one, Jared is obviously the better than Ian, because
Jared is better than the mannequin?
Yes,
what a bold statement.
But I know, right? But really, if I have to pick a character, I think that Melanie herself I appreciated more because of her snarkiness. Some of her lines were really quite entertaining, like I think you take me back, and then you hear Melanie go hallelujah. Like just those little tiny quips that I worked well.
You know
well
what
with.
I really had an issue with in this movie was the wandering accents, because
I actually didn't notice that.
The brain voice Melanie is the main human character, who is literally just voiceover most of the movie. She's supposed to be from Alabama
or something,
Louisiana.
Yeah.
She has an accent occasionally. Every now and then she'll have an accent in her voice, and then the rest of the time it's just not there. And you get the same thing from Crazy Bitch Lady Seeker. She's got an accent. Sometimes.
Yeah, no,
it's
I agree
faint
with you.
and then it vanishes, and once I caught it just drove me nuts.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
like,
no, I think that's
all the time.
I didn't think about that while watching it.
Other missed opportunities in the movie: the 3 minutes, the grand total of 3 minutes where Brain Melanie vanished.
Oh yeah.
Three
and
minutes of screen time devoted to the main character, human character, essentially dying and having to be brought back via a series of kisses.
Yeah, that was... No,
There
I know,
was,
it was
no point!
So many things. So many things.
There was no
As
point
I said,
to that
we
scene.
really could have done without that whole romance because it was just so... just kill me now. Like, really, and I don't do romance. If I do, it's more of like an intellectual, like, romantic comedy where your characters actually have some form of intelligence, unlike these characters that
Oh,
just...
God. There's a term on TV tropes called the idiot ball, where the plot can only move forward if everyone is acting like an idiot.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
So, characters in this movie grab the idiot ball like their life depends on it and just run with it. Humans in a settlement have a brain slug infected person show up. What do? Treat her nice. You know, invite her to join, the community, harvest some grain.
Yeah, exactly. While we're on the topic of the harvesting the grain, so the kid gets a cut on his leg that gets infected. And there are many moments where the guys go on, like, scavenging runs, for lack of a better term, and they go to the grocery store that apparently doesn't have a cash register or anything, and they just take supplies. And I'm thinking to myself,
There's not
there's
one
no
first
medical
aid
supply.
kit there at all?
Nothing. And so when Melanie or the host turns around and says, well, your supplies aren't good enough to get rid of this infection, I need our stuff, our healing mist, and then she goes and cuts herself and goes into the doctor and steals some and then leaves it. I'm like, humans have med kits and things. You could get rid of that infection fairly easily. It's just a cut.
They mention why they can't, because apparently the aliens moved in, took over the world non-violently somehow, and then destroyed all the medicine. There's one line where it's like, there is no more medicine left. The aliens destroyed it all. And I'm like, what?
I missed that entire line.
What?
There you go. It went so fast.
We had to have a reason for Wanderer, aka Wanda, a fish called Wanda, I guess, or a brain slug called Wanda. Yes, the brain slug called Wanda to go out and prove her worth to everybody.
I guess.
So she had to go and steal a bunch of medicine. You know how I think she could have done it? She could have walked in and said, "Hey, can I take a bunch of medicine?" They would have been like, "Okay."
Yeah, they
because
would,
the brain slugs are super polite.
Well, yeah, but it also, like, she's not a human. She doesn't have normal eyes. She has the host eyes, so she could have just walked in and asked for it.
Yeah. And they would have given it to her.
Instead of saying, "Oh, could I get a glass of water?" Really?
Yeah. Well, remember, she's an idiot, along with everyone else in the movie. Bad guys included. Everyone's dumb. I agree.
All the...
One guy tries to kill her, throw her into the water, into this, perfectly dangerous underground stream that they have to go past to get to the baths. And
because that makes
fails
sense.
Utterly in the worst fight scene I have ever seen, as they flail around at each other uselessly until he slips on the wet rock because he can't, all I have to do is get between the wall and her and push. Nope, can't do that. Nope. Oh no, I'm on the other side. He's twice her size, can't do a damn thing to her.
And then she saves him for some...
No, of course she saves him. She's the good guy. She's the hero.
Okay, so, and I think that leads us to the point of what you tried to do with this book/movie, which is talk about how humans aren't always the good people. Like, the host, like, the aliens were trying to be the non-threatening, good, utopia-like people, and the humans were the ones going around killing and stealing and being monsters. And they do have a couple of lines in there where I forget which character it is, but one of the characters says, like, you guys are horrible, and it's better that we came in and took over the planet, but...
Secret Bitch Lady talked about that.
Did she?
When she was talking to Wanda, before Wanderer fucked off and joined the Human Resistance, and she was all like, they were fucking up this planet. We fixed it all because we're so great.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But then you also see elements of it in lines like, well, it's not human. And then I think it's the old guy that says, so we stop acting human then?
No, it's the mannequin.
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah, the mannequin.
Yeah.
After he switched sides, because remember, he originally was all for killing her, and only when he failed did he decide he was in love with her.
Mm-hmm. And then the other, like...
Little fiber optic brain slugs.
And then the other sort of point that I got out of it was the one line where the uncle says, if our memories are still alive, are we? And I'm like, okay, so you could have gone places with that, but you didn't.
Every missed opportunity in the movie, you could have gone places with that, but you didn't.
Yup. And I think that really just sums up our experiences of this movie.
The lines were so bad.
Yeah,
they would get the wooden delivery, the terrible like seriousness with which everyone talked about everything. Mm-hmm. I just literally the I love you too. Like I just started cracking up when they were doing that. I just couldn't stop laughing. It was so bad, and it was like just. And you could see it coming from a mile away, but why?
Yeah.
Why? There was no reason for that.
I agree.
It was terrible.
Did you take anything else out of this movie?
I kept comparing the movie to the book and the places where the book was better in a lot of ways. But there were some aesthetic choices about the movies that I like. Like, I can watch the movie and I think, like, the way the Soul Society is portrayed, that... vintage aesthetic.
Sorry, you said Soul Society and my brain went to Bleach immediately.
Oh god!
Sorry.
So I'm thinking, Soul Society, when did the Shinigami come into the... Oh, okay.
Oh god. See, even that would have been...
That would have been much more interesting. But yeah, the Brain Slug
the
Society.
Music, I like. If I don't think too much about
the music.
What it could have been.
Okay, the music was fine until the very end when they decided to end the movie with Imagine Dragons.
Okay, so hold on.
Which is not thematically or lyrically appropriate.
Hold on a second. So that was the only song I noticed in the whole thing. Apparently that song was used in the trailer and they decided to use it in the movie
itself. We paid for it, might as well.
So... I was like, okay, I appreciate that you used a song that I really like. I didn't notice anything else for the music. Nothing.
Well, it was all.
Also, if it works well, music, you're not supposed to notice it.
Well, no,
we didn't get any songs. Is what we didn't get. We got the orchestral stuff.
Oh,
yes.
yeah, okay.
And the normal background music that you do not notice in movies unless it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So
or really
bad. Yeah. And it was neither. It was okay. It fit most of the scenes. It was fine. So you don't notice it.
I have no idea. Because I love music, so normally that's one of the things I notice no matter what. And I will base, how I feel about movies a lot having to do with not just the story, but the music to go with it.
I agree with you. I have the same thing, but it's really bad for me with movies that are made from old TV shows. If it doesn't contain the original theme song, I cannot like the movie.
Interesting.
Just will not happen.
Very interesting.
So... Yes, music is important. It was unnoticeable for most of the movie until, Imagine Dragons came on.
And then you're like, hey, a song I like.
I like this song. It does not fit this movie.
No,
not even slightly. Really. But hey, I guess they got paid for it, so good.
Yeah. Silver lining?
Question mark? The whole end credits with the nebulas and the stars and stuff. This movie was not a space movie.
No,
this movie
really
had nothing to do with outer space.
I mean, the coolest part of the movie was when she put the little toast holder thingy, and then it went through that. I don't even know what you want to call that.
The constellation net.
Yeah, that
just
thing.
fired off,
and then it goes
space.
up, and I'm like, so that was cool.
Oh, one of the things I liked was that they acknowledged light speed and relativity. So the aliens do not travel faster than light.
No, they don't.
They've got their little life support pods where the brain slugs live, and they fire off, and it takes them
months.
No, they were like, if you fire me off to this star, when I get there, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren will all be dead.
Yeah.
When I get there. So they acknowledge that it takes a long time. But see, they're only traveling in these little life support pods. How did they take over the goddamn world?
I know. Like, how do you even...
It doesn't work!
Because somebody else has to open
to open it, pick up the little fiber optic brain slug, and then coax it into a cut in the back of somebody's neck. Okay, like, if they were the Goa'uld, I could see it happening, because their brain slug jump in through your mouth and coil around your brain. But no, these are little love slugs. You gotta be kind to them, or else they don't work. Anyway, so that's about as much as we can talk about. Final thoughts, Marjolaine.
And star rating.
And star
rating.
Yes.
It was okay. I don't hate the movie. There are a lot of things to pick apart. It could have been a lot better, but 3 stars, maybe.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
Susan?
It was okay. It didn't do a lot for me. There were many moments that I just straight up facepalmed, and came out of that going, why did I watch this exactly? And similarly thinking, thank God I saved Sonia from watching this. And maybe a 2.5 if you're lucky.
I thought the movie was hilarious, but hilarious in the worst possible way. It is the perfect target for a riff tracks, and I would watch it again with a riff tracks just because it'd be even more funny that way. But as it is not good enough. I give it a 1.5 stars.
Wow. I think that's the official worst.
I recommend that nobody watch it unless they're doing it for the funsies and you enjoy seeing terrible things happen to good people. So, yeah.
Well, good is relative.
Again, I think the actors are fine. They're decent people, and they should not have been put in this piece of crap. Do not impugn their honor. So, please like, subscribe,
share,
and
share in the thing. We do have to pick up the next movie, and it's going to be you.
Okay.
This will be for season 5, starting next year.
Is it season 5? X-Men 2000.
Hooray! Good times. Anyway, like, subscribe, leave comments, tell us everything you thought about this terrible movie and why you'll never watch it because of our recommendation. Goodbye.
Not even slightly thriller.